It's interesting. People have had a lot of interesting comments about this one. It's untitled, and this was actually, when I painted this, was a self-portrait, believe it or not. A lot of people mistake it as a portrait of Charles Manson, and it was kind of a dark time in my life when I painted it. And what's kind of going on, if you look at it, is the idea is that I was trying to wash some things out of my brain, I guess. The idea is that there's this sort of tube coming down into the head, and then there's like this open door here, and the tube is supposed to be washing things out of my brain. It's supposed to be sort of like a pumping out things. And at the time, you see like an image of a woman just trying to pump out, feeling bad about a woman. So that's the main thing going on there. But there's a lot of, I used that collage thing in the background. This was one of the first pieces where I did that. And there's a lot of pictures of Charles Manson in the background. So people, of course, thought that's what it was about. It makes sense. But it isn't. It was more of a self-portrait.
See, like I said, I'm still kind of going around the room, soaking it all in, but it's very interesting stuff. I really like some of the digital media stuff. I think that's very cool. It's all got a very, disturbing feel to it, which is, obviously I think what was intended. So it's some of it actually gives you that feeling of pain almost, which I think is, again, part of the intention, part of what he's trying to convey. So yeah, it's very cool.
Okay, infection control was based on a dream I had. It would have been actually a couple of months before the last painting we just talked about. The dream I had is I dreamt that my hand was translucent and that I could see through my skin, and that there was this mass of infection running through all of my muscles, and that all of a sudden there was like this massive light, and that in that light all of the infection began to drain out of my hand and just drain away into like this sea. And this sort of sea of, in the painting it looks like blood, but it was just, everything was colored red. And there was like this blinding red light of positive energy that was pulling all of the infection away. And that was sort of the idea of what was going on in the dream. And that's the idea of this painting, is that all of the negativity, i.e. the infection, is being drained away. It's being pulled out from inside, and positive energy is now coming in. So, and then here is just like the scared child, trying to come to terms with that for the first time. So, and I'm not sure what this thing is. I just sort of painted it and left it there. Maybe it's some sort of guardian spirit watching over to see what happens. This painting here, Earth, and then another one, 2 paintings over, it's called Metal, were part of a series I started based on the elements. I was starting a whole series based on the elements. And what I was going to do is each painting was going to be a woman, and then the woman would represent one of the elements. So what you had here was Earth, and so she's pregnant with planet Earth in her belly. And if you go over there, that one's Metal, and the metal being the mirror that she's looking in. So I started that, and I actually did a third one of Fire, and it turned out really well, but I did something that I highly think artists should probably not do, which is I did the painting of my then girlfriend. And it was this beautiful nude, like that one. It was this gorgeous nude painting. And of course we ended up breaking up, a few months later. And in a fit of anger, I gave her that painting back. And I have no idea, it's probably gone, probably burned or something. But it sort of derailed the whole project. So I don't know if I'll ever go back to finishing it. Maybe I will. So I never did do, the water, wind, and the others. So, but those are the 2 element paintings that I have finished as of right now. I hope people come away with I hope they come away satisfied that they saw something unique, number one. And I hope that, they come away feeling, I think I should say that people are aware of what I do for my films, number one. And I think a lot of people think that what I do is overwhelmingly negative because of my films, even though I don't see my films as being overwhelmingly negative. But I hope that when people come away from seeing this stuff that they, see that there's a side of what I do that is, actually pretty positive, or at the very least thoughtful. And they can see that, like you mentioned earlier, maybe even spiritual in some ways. So that there's definitely a side, a yin to my yang, I guess, that they haven't thought about yet. And that there's, something that they didn't know that I do. That this is a whole side to what I do that people weren't aware of.